Hey Tauruses, happy April 2018. I hope that you guys are doing well. Really quickly, just want to talk about this promotion I'm putting out. So I don't think I mentioned it in the last video because I don't think I heard from a lot of Tauruses, but I am doing free photo readings right now. So send me an email with your photo or whoever you want, like the inside scoop on. And I just use my intuition. It's been really fun and I think really successful too. And it's really been developing my intuition. This is the last month that I'm going to be doing it, probably because I give birth to a Taurus very soon. Very, very soon. Hopefully sooner rather than later. Like, I'm ready. And I will show you her, of course, when she comes out. Okay, so that being said, I hope you guys had a great March. March 31st is a full moon in Libra. So depending on when you're watching this, that full moon is all about relationships, and it's an intense one. This full moon in Libra is bringing up a lot of stuff when it comes to relationships that need to be released and cleared. So definitely flow with it. You know, just recognize that relationships, they're lessons, and they come and go, and a lot of the times will bring up issues in a relationship that, you know, happened years ago. And if it comes up, it means that we haven't healed from it. It means that we still have pain. So this is an excellent time for, if those back issues come up, to just finally say, I'm done. You know, I've accepted it. I've owned it. I've learned from it. I've grown from it, and let it go, release it. And it's really as simple as just saying, I'm not putting any more power into this anymore. And if it does cross your mind, you know, canceling that thought out with something positive. Yeah, that happened, but if that didn't happen, this wouldn't have happened. It just completely changes your whole perspective on that relationship around. That being said, there's some other stuff going on in April, Taurus, that I want to talk to you guys about. Mercury goes direct on April 15th. Thank God. Mercury retrograde really killed me this month, I'll be honest with you. It started March 22nd, 23rd. And what Mercury retrograde does, if you don't know, is it really screws up communication, really screws up travel time. Of course, it does matter where exactly in your natal chart it's hitting in order to see how it's going to mess with your communication and your understanding of things. But overall, you just want to be really cognizant of the messages you're sending out, how you're communicating to people, you know, really going inward and rewriting, reanalyzing, rejuvenate. All the words is how you want to use Mercury retrograde. And April 15th is when it's going to be really, really potent. Within the 14th to the 17th, that time frame, it's going to be even more potent than what it was. So just have patience. This is really a time when, you know, I've been stuck behind a train pretty much 8 times since Mercury went retrograde, and my husband is so impatient. He's literally like, ah, and I'm just like, no, let's roll down the windows, turn on the music, and just turn off the car and be like, thank you for this second of relaxation. So just always leave extra time. Do what you need to do to really embrace the Mercury retrograde energy instead of working against it. New moon is in Aries on the 15th as well, and the new moon in Aries is bringing in whatever you want. Whatever you want when it comes to leadership, whenever it comes to, you know, independence, something dynamic, something fun, something new. Like, really start to figure out what you want to create that's new, that's energizing, that's fun, that is leadership-wise, that has a lot of that Aries energy, and you can start to think about it and bring it into your focus and bring it into your energy, and then you start to see it materializing within the next 6 months. Saturn retrogrades on the 17th, which Saturn is that planet of restriction, so when that retrogrades, it can feel a little depressing, I'll be honest with you. It can feel a little depressing. And it's here until September 6th, so that's our summer. Thanks, Saturn. But the good thing about Saturn retrograde is that we can really go internalize about our authority and really start to empower ourselves from the inside out, okay? April 19th, the sun enters Taurus. It's getting into Taurus season real soon. And then April 22nd, we have Pluto going retrograde. Pluto is all about inner transformations. Well, when it goes retrograde, it's more of an inner transformation, life and death situations where you feel so passionate about things. It can be borderline obsessive. And then we have a full moon in Scorpio on April 29th. So that's going to be a really nice full moon. That's going to be really deep, really intense, you know, where huge transformations can take place. So I can guarantee you, Taurus, that by your birthday, you're not going to be the same person. Like, between the Pluto retrograde and the full moon in Scorpio, and the full moon in Libra, things are shifting. Like, this is a very, very intense year. Okay, so that is astrology. Let's get started on the reading for Taurus, April 2018. Okay. So nothing too dire that your subconscious wants you to know right off the bat, because no cards are popping out. So let's see. Thank you. That was good. Taurus, April 2018. Thank you. The theme of this reading is something about a relationship where it's at the point now where with the full moon in Libra, you're like, I know exactly what's going on. You have all the intel, you have all the knowledge about this relationship, and you're just kind of sitting on it. You're just kind of like, you're watching it. You're like, I know what's going on. I see you. But you're not making any major decisions right now because you're at a little bit of a crossroads where you don't want to burn that bridge. You're kind of just sitting at a crossroad right in the middle, being like, okay, I can go this way, that way, this way, that way. You're right in the center there. And the good thing about it is that it's really empowering you in a way that you may not even recognize. It's really giving you this understanding, this intuitiveness, you know, it's kind of like cat-like. It's kind of like a black cat where, you know, for the people who are into, how does it go? If you're superstitious, a black cat crossing your path is good luck, but if you're not superstitious, then it's bad luck. So essentially, yours is, you're now gaining that knowledge where it's a good thing, where it's working to your advantage. You're gaining a different level of awareness and intuition that you can now use it to your full advantage, okay? However, still struggling with sleep. Still struggling with sleep. And just comfort. You know, it's like the Princess and the Pea. It's like you just can't get comfortable enough to go deep into your sleep. Like, you may be able to get the sleep that you feel like you need, but to really go inward, your mind is just racing constantly, especially with this Mercury retrograde. It's like a push and pull where your mind is just constantly going. Your emotions are attached to it as well. So it's just been kind of difficult, and it's because you still haven't fully moved on from something. But once you do, you're really going to find your empowerment within home and family, especially when it comes to this person here who's very focused on material abundance. Like, this person has a lot of 9 energy, which means that their birthday, look, see, I'm already getting, like, there's something about them where, yeah, they're humanitarian, but there's like an ending when it comes to them, or something ended for them that has now put a lot of pressure on you, a lot of responsibility and a lot of weight on you. And although it's empowered you in a way at home and with your family, it's still a lot. It's still a lot. And you keep looking back to how things used to be, when there was a juggle, there was a little bit of a balance, but at least you knew where you were going. This transformation is going to bring in some positivity, especially when it comes to your reputation, but not without judgment first. Not without judgment about whether or not you're doing enough, okay? So that's the theme of the reading. Let's get started on the actual reading. Doing a lot of alone time, a lot of inner work, a lot of rest, a lot of kind of putting, especially the home and family, especially the family, I should say, well, family at home, kind of really putting them a little bit away, like really kind of getting your rest, really kind of doing your laps within your heart, within your head, and just figuring out what you want, okay? Doing a lot of that. Just don't shoot yourself in the foot when it comes to it. Don't block off so many relationships and important people, especially people that you love, where when you need them, they're nowhere to be seen. Like, you still want to make sure that you have a little bit of a safety net. So touch base a little bit. Touch base, touch back in, make sure everything is going okay. The obstacle and the aid to this alone time you've been doing is this full moon energy, is the lunar phases, the lunar cycles, the in and out. So spending a lot of time alone is based on the knowledge that you've gained through this full moon in Libra. and is also through the knowledge that you're going to gain on the full moon in Scorpio. You're really, from the 13th to the 29th of April, you're really going to be spending a lot of inner work, a lot of inner analysis because of what you're gaining. And it's the obstacle and the 8. So it's actually helping with your meditation. It's helping with your inner work, but it's also hindering it a bit because, like I said, it's hard to sleep when your mind is constantly racing. So meditation is really an excellent tool to start this month, especially because just to silence your mind a little bit. Subconsciously, you've been working really hard. Subconsciously, you're like workhorse, which is good because you're gaining that power back. When it comes to relationships, you just don't know where it's going. You're like, I've been seated for so long. Where is this going? What's happening? I'm seeing like somebody in a jail cell just like ticking off the days, being like, when is this going to change? When is this happening? There's so much depth in the past. There's so much, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, it was rocky, and it may even only seem, it's like an iceberg where you only see like 10% of it, but there's so much depth when it comes to this relationship, and that's why you've been doing the inner work. That's why you've been doing the alone time. That's why you've been just focusing on work, because you don't know where this relationship is going at all, okay? But you know that something is missing in your home life. You know that something is missing. You're getting a message. You're getting a message real soon. What is that? Looks like a 7. But it's also a question mark. So could be a message that comes in on or around the 7th, and it makes you question things. Yeah, and this message is really going to grow you. It's really going to grow you. And I'm seeing an R. So the message could be somebody with an R in their first, middle, or last name. Or it could just be somebody, the message isn't even a message that's received, with Mercury retrograde. So you think that you put out a message to someone, but they haven't received it. Like I'm seeing like you're left on red, like you feel like they've read it, you feel like they have received it, but they haven't. So that's where you're kind of like in a limbo. Family and friends are doing really well. Love this card for the family and friends. Everybody's doing okay. Everybody's doing okay. Emotionally, they're doing okay. Okay, so no need to pry there. There's no need to pry. Okay. Like I said, you are gaining your power at home, especially with a certain person in the home and family. But that's where there's a little bit of an issue, because they're actually doing fine, and I think they're making it seem like they need a lot more from you, but you could move on and they'd be just fine. You could move on. I think it's just a guilt trip there, and I think subconsciously you know that. Hope and fear is for you to find that power, is for you to move on with your power, is for you to say, okay, like you've been a little bit of a standstill, like I said, especially within a relationship, and now it is time to move forward a bit. Yeah, it is time to kind of grease that wheel and get yourself out there, because you have enough knowledge backing you up, but there's a lot of fear, and that's what's keeping you stand still. So the outcome, Taurus, is Knight of Cups. First step, you're going to recognize that when it comes to a relationship, you're not moving forward. You're just staying still. You're not making any forward movement. And that's going to bring in this Knight of Cups, like bring in this energy. So this is a younger person than you, water signs, so Scorpio, Pisces, or Cancer, or just embodies a lot of that element. This person is swimming upstream. So this person doesn't really go with the flow. Like other people do things one way and they do it completely differently. This person you've known for a very long time. And I'm seeing like a ponytail. Like, so either like a man bun or something with a ponytail. If it's not a man, or, there is something about this girl that, something with her ponytail, okay? Yeah, and this person, there's an O in their name. First, middle, or last. Okay, so this person's going to come in. First, you need to realize that you haven't done anything when it comes to a relationship. You've sat still because you don't know which way to go. This person comes in and then it's creating a huge change. Huge change, okay? Especially when it comes to the rest you've been doing at home. Okay, so when I say this person comes in, they could already be in your life, but they're going to be more prevalent. They're going to really come in this month, okay? Let's see your indigo card. Okay. 2 cards, Taurus. Archangel Michael. That's a really good one. Archangel Michael protects light workers, so always call on him whenever you're feeling stressed, especially when you can't sleep. Those times when you're feeling really stressed out, just say his name and you'll feel instant relief. Like there's something about his presence, like the energy. So depending on how like spiritual or non-spiritual, the way I understand angels and archangels, which I think a lot of people can resonate with, is you're tapping into this energy. So the way that I've come to understand it is that time doesn't actually exist, and we do exist at the same time as Archangel Michael, whatever work he was doing on Earth. So we're just kind of aligning ourselves with that energy that he has, and his energy, because there's no time, is very relaxing, is very competent, is very soothing, and he's a protector of sorts. Like he protects you. So definitely, if you're feeling stressed about anything, call Archangel Michael, and then get the proper self-care that you need. Start getting back into what makes you happy. Invest in it. You've been working so hard. It's time to invest in your self-care. Go get your hair done. Go, get your nails done. Go do something that is something that, oh, I would never do that. Do it, go get yourself like a really nice meal and honor yourself and say, this is my self-care. It's important. This is now April. Hopefully now you can start working back in the garden, start getting back into, the seasonal vegetables, because when it comes to the ground and the earth, it's all very important for a Taurus. So that's all I have for you guys. I hope you have an amazing April. And like I said, I can't wait to see your beautiful faces in my inbox. My email is below, and I'm looking forward to speaking to you guys. Have an amazing April, and I'll see you in March. Bye, Taurus.